Hey guys, Kkstar12 here, and I am back with my part 2 of my top 10 favorite Disney villains. Let's go. Number 5, Percival C. McLeach from The Rescuers Down Under. This guy made me laugh almost just as hard as Ratigan did, because I love the way how he handled the boy Cody. Now, Cody is kind of like one of my sisters in a way, because she knows a lot about animals just as much as he does. So when McLeach tries to ask him about Marihuti and her eggs, he tries to run away from the poacher, but instead he gets kidnapped as well. Just like when Penny got kidnapped by Medusa and was forced to find a diamond. Here, McLeach kidnaps the boy just so he can get a location of the bird's nest. And he tries everything in his power to get Cody to talk. He even tries to feed him to a whole bunch of alligators. What in the world? He even has this salamander sidekick named Joanna, and I'll admit, she is funny as heck. He was evil, slick, and very smart. Number 4, Scar from The Lion King. I could not watch this movie for years because I was so freaking scared of it. But I finally watched it years later, and the one thing that really stuck to me was Scar's motivation. Wow. I mean, he kills his own brother and attempts to kill his own nephew just so he could take over the throne. Now, if one of my relatives wanted to do that to one of my family members, I would have socked him right in the face and called the police. He lowers Simba into a gorge and tells him he needs to work on his roar. So when Simba did the loudest roar that he could, he sent a whole bunch of wildebeest stampeding towards Simba. And to make it even worse, he sends Mufasa into the gorge to go save Simba. And just right after he sends Simba to safety, he gets pushed off the cliff by Scar and into the stampede. And it kills him instantly. And so, after that was done, he blames Simba for his death. He blames his own poor scared little nephew, and then he runs off because he thinks he did it. I love the fact how Scar doesn't admit that he killed Mufasa until later on in the movie. So that was pretty fascinating to watch. His villain song was amazing too. He was just so freaking evil, and I just loved him for that. He was awesome. Number 3. Mother Gothel from Tangled. Now, from when I first saw this movie, I knew that she was going to be part of my favorite Disney villain lineup. Because not only did she kidnap Rapunzel just so she could stay young because of the power that's in Rapunzel's hair from the flower, but she also tries to be all motherly loving towards Rapunzel, just like how Medusa did with Penny and the Rescuers. And so when she finds out that she's with Flynn Rider, aka Eugene Fitzherbert, and not only does she find out that she's with him, but she also finds out that Rapunzel learned that she was the lost princess. So once she figured that out, she took Rapunzel back to the tower where she kidnapped her into for her to stay. And she keeps her there until Flynn Rider comes back. And she stabs him right in the back, like literally, with a sword. And, and she says, once he's dead, she'll bring Rapunzel somewhere where nobody will ever find her again. But aka, spoiler alert, he doesn't really die. He doesn't die, actually. And honestly, just by watching Mother Gothel, I could definitely tell she was probably bipolar at one point because, at one point she was loving towards Rapunzel, and then the next minute, she's just a demon. So, I loved her villain songs, by the way. They were they were really fun to watch and listen to. Number 2, Jafar from Aladdin. I didn't really pay attention to this movie until like a few years later. So when I watched Jafar for the first time, I thought he was a pretty good villain. He wants to marry Jasmine, Princess Jasmine, just so he could take over the land. And he does everything in his power to do that. He even tries to change the law of how princesses should marry a prince, but instead he changes it to, princesses need to marry a royal vizier. So that was kind of funny to watch. And then I love how he hypnotizes Jasmine's father to trick him into saying that he could marry Jasmine. That was funny too. And I love how he transforms himself into all kinds of different people and objects just so he could get what he wanted. And I love the way how he's drawn and voiced. I mean, it felt like I was watching a Broadway musical without any musical numbers at all. When I found out that he did have a musical number, I was very impressed. And he took every advantage of it, and he just did an amazing job. Now before I get to my number 1, I have a couple honorable mentions. Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty. She was good, I guess. I mean, she just, again, wanted revenge. She didn't get invited to Sleeping Beauty's christening. And I thought that was pretty interesting to know how she was going to get her revenge. So that was pretty cool. Dr. Facilier, I liked how he used all this voodoo magic, to try to marry Charlotte, Tiana's friend, just so he can get the money. That was pretty interesting. But not enough for me to put him in. Gaston, he was pretty good, I guess. Same thing. He just wanted to marry. But, he would do horrible things, like try to kill the beast. So, but they were pretty good. Okay, so my number 1 top 10 favorite Disney villain is Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame and Hans from Frozen. I decided to put these two together because they both seemed even to me. Let's start with Frollo. First of all, I could not watch this movie for years because of this guy. And because not only does he, kill Quasimodo's mother, but he tries to drown Quasimodo in a well. And as he's doing this, he's saying to the preacher, this is an unholy demon. I'm sending him back to hell where he belongs. I mean, what the heck? I mean, did Disney seriously just put in a Christian demon in a kid's film? I mean, what the heck? I mean, not only that, he also is lusting over a gypsy girl named Esmeralda. And he is so obsessed with her that he would burn down a family's home just so he could find her. And, I mean, what the heck? And so, I am so glad my mom kept me away from this movie when I was a kid. Thank you, Mama. And another thing that really stuck out to me was his villain song, Hellfire. What in the world? I mean, do you really want your kids singing this demon song around your house? I wouldn't want my kids singing that. And I mean, I love Disney, but come on, think about the children, okay? So now we move to Hans. I mean, for those of you who knew that Hans was going to turn out to be the villain the first time you saw him on screen, congratulations, you won $10 million. Nah, just kidding, sorry. But good job, though. I, unfortunately, was one of those people who never figured it out. I mean, how could I have known that? How could anybody notice? Because, he was helping the people in Arendelle, get warm with cloaks and then passing out glog and telling the Duke of Weselton to back off, because he was thinking that Anna was probably going to pair up with Elsa and destroy the kingdom. So he even brought Elsa back home to Arendelle. I mean, come on. I mean, he kept his plan in for like a good long hour. He never revealed his plan for an hour. And then once he revealed his plan to Anna, I mean, he had to distract everybody, including Elsa, saying that, Anna was dead, which she really wasn't yet. So as Elsa was grieving over Anna's death, he tries to sneak up behind her and tries to decapitate her with a sword. I mean, what? But luckily, Anna, shows up right in time just before she freezes up and dies for like 30 seconds. And my favorite part is near the end when she finally punches him in the face for revenge. I mean, that was funny. Okay, so that was my top 10 favorite Disney villains. Do you guys agree with me? Or if you don't, leave me a notice in the comments. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.